I keep expecting some massive thing to happen the more episodes of this show that I watch, but the more episodes that come out, I realise that maybe that just won't happen like it does in the Marvel films. In fact, I might even go further and say this show is getting worse the more episodes that come out. Or maybe they're just building up to the season final and to build it up for season 2 maybe, which I'm not that happy about. This episode, episode 6, is about Jen, She-Hulk, going to her friend Lulu's wedding with a subplot of Mr. Immortal, a dude from the wedding, killing himself to get out of uncomfortable situations. And as I was watching him in this episode, I thought his name sounded familiar, so I look him up, and while he is not exactly a hero, he's not exactly a good guy, in the grand scheme of things, he is. And She-Hulk Attorney at Law saw him in the comics and went, let's just make him a piece of shit, basically. And I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but it's something that I've been noticing quite a lot in Marvel films in general as of late. And I swear the only thing I can think of why they made such a change to the character, apart from just comedy, I suppose, is because he's a man. I mean, it's become quite a common thing, as I said, in films as of late, to portray the man as a bit of a prick, right? And to portray the woman as a shining beacon of light, pureness, strength, and can do nothing wrong. Which, I guess, it isn't a bad thing. It's just being overdone quite a bit, and a lot of the time it's undeserved, I think, personally. But I'm not here to spend the entire video talking about that. I'm here to talk about something much more boring. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, Episode 6. An entire filler episode about Jen going to a wedding. So the episode starts off with Jen talking to super best friend, attorney assistant Nikki, about how she feels obligated to attend a wedding that she got invited to. And Nikki is going to be with the lawyer from the last episode, dealing with the Mr. Immortal side plot that I mentioned earlier. This is the 6th episode out of a 9-episode show, and I would appreciate if something actually happened. So Jen gets to the wedding as She-Hulk, and her friend Lulu says, No, I don't want you to be She-Hulk at my wedding. I want you to be Jen. And that's quite a common thing that's been happening throughout this season. Jen wants to be herself, and everybody wants Jen to be somebody else. She can't be She-Hulk at a wedding. She can't be Jen at work. She always has to be what somebody else wants her to be. And that's quite sad. I would be pretty pissed off, right, if someone said, like, if I was a Hulk, and someone said, no, man, Jordan, you can't be doing this, mate. You gotta do what I want you to do. She-Hulk complies, and she's Jen for most of the rest of the wedding. Back with Nikki and the lawyer from earlier, they're with Mr. Immortal, and as I mentioned earlier, Mr. Immortal is incredibly bad at dealing with uncomfortable situations. So much so that rather than just speaking to whoever about the situation that he's dealing with, he decides to just kill himself. As he's explaining all of this to the lawyer and Nikki, they're being incredibly unprofessional and just questioning everything that he's saying. I mean, yeah, he's a piece of shit, but these two are lawyers, or one of them is a lawyer and the other is a legal aid. They keep questioning him about it, and he has enough, he feels uncomfortable, so he just jumps out the window and kills himself. Lands on a police car, breaks the police car, obviously. He revives, puts his hat on, says bye and walks away, which I thought was pretty funny. But also, he broke a window, and he broke an entire police car, and he just walks away like nothing happened. Back at the wedding, Jen isn't having the best of times exactly, and to make matters worse, oh my god, I was about to say Tatiana, but to make matters worse, it's Titania. She's been on every episode so far, and I don't know why it's taken me so long to notice it. She's the main villain of the show, in case no one else got it. Titania explains to Jen that she's only here as a +1 and not to start anything. Jen acts like a child and decides to eat sweets out in the back. So she's out in the back eating sweets or candy when she meets a hot guy. Awesome, right? And they seem to be hitting it off. There's some awkward, I'm assuming, improved flirting scenes, right? But just as they're hitting it off, just as quickly as they meet, they both get pulled away by Lulu, who makes the guy help with laundry or something, I'm not too sure, and Jen gets made to collect empty glasses and iron the shirts of the groomsmen who wrinkled them playing Mario Kart. We also find out that Jen's groomsman will be Jonathan, and if I was at a wedding and I got made down to walk the aisle with a bridesmaid or a groomsman, however it works really, I don't know, like, with this groomsman right here on screen, I would be so happy. Look at how cute he is. But Jen thinks otherwise, and she gets super drunk and dances and just has a good time at a wedding. I mean, what else would you do? Back with the lawyer and Nikki, they're trying their best, right, to see to it that Mr. Immortal's power of marrying multiple people and then killing himself to get out of said marriage doesn't land him in a hot mess of bankruptcy. Nikki, who uses her superpower of being a likable person, strikes a deal with Mr. Immortal's 8 or 9 ex-spouses. One of them gets money, the other one gets a back payment for the 2 years that she spent looking after Mr. Immortal's child, and another gets an apology and 20 seconds of eye contact. I'd be fucking raging, by the way. See if, like, I was in a room with 8 people and they all got money and I got a fucking apology and eye contact. I'd be like, nah, fuck you, man. Give me money. Give me all the money. I mean, not just because they're getting money as well, but because I saw my husband die and I need money for emotional damages. But maybe an apology and 20 seconds of eye contact is just as good, I'm not sure. I mean, look at these 2 other wives right here. Look at their faces. The actors themselves know that something isn't right here. So Jen and that hot guy from earlier, they're talking again, they still seem to be getting along when Jen just gets up and throws up outside because she's been drinking at the wedding. So she throws up and then a hand goes on her back and starts rubbing it. So I think, oh, it's the hot guy from before. But oh my god, it's Titania. Shocker. And almost immediately, Titania just fucking punches Jen, sends her flying across the room, knocks her head on some concrete, and Jen gets up like everything's okay. She's not even in Hulk form, she's just in normal tiny human mode. I mean, she gets up like she didn't just get hit with a rock and a hard place rolled into one. After she gets up, she says, I can take you like this, goes to punch Titania, and immediately just falls flat on her face. I thought it was really funny. Actually, one of the only scenes in this episode so far that had me audibly laughing. So Jen goes to Hulk up, but then she half does it, and then reverts back to Jen form because she forgot how to do it. It's 6 episodes in, the show is finally paying for itself. Took a while, but we got there. She tries again, successfully this time, kicks the ground, which sends Titania flying. And so you think we're gonna get like an actual cool superhero fight, the one that we were supposed to get in the 2nd episode. So Titania gets sent flying, gets up, she starts like shouting and losing her shit a little bit. She trips, falls, knocking her head into the ground, and then I'm just gonna show the picture because it's fucking mental. She gets up and she's got like crocodile teeth or something, and it's because her veneers came out. And then she takes the wedding cake and leaves after losing the fight. She's all, fuck you, I'm taking this cake. This wedding sucks. Which again, comedic fucking gold right there. I don't know if they've got different writers, or maybe they're just getting comfortable with the characters or something. Nikki and the lawyer, whose name I still don't know, to be honest. I should probably learn her name. They go on a website called Intelligentsia, which they learn about from one of Mr. Immortal's ex-spouses. You know, the one that gets an apology instead of money. And this website is basically just Reddit. It's got the same sort of like, you know, neckbeard vibe comments that you'd usually find on Reddit. Not that all of Reddit is full of neckbeards and cunts, it's just a very small, loud portion of it. They see that there's a page on Intelligentsia about She-Hulk and how they want to kill her. The lawyer tells Nikki not to tell Jen about this and to keep her, you know, they want Jen to enjoy her life and not worry about people wanting to kill her, basically. So Nikki says, nah, fuck that, and immediately tells Jen via voicemail, which, I don't know about you, but I think was the right move. In the final scene, or maybe second final scene of this episode, we're shown this fancy-looking futuristic computer, and on the computer is a page. It's got Jen's face on it. It's got all of her vitals, I suppose. And then some scientist puts a really massive needle into a box, presumably so that the group that tried to take her blood in an earlier episode can actually take it. I'm still not too sure why they want to kill Jen, but I guess we'll find out next episode. And that was it, to be honest. That's the end of the episode. It was just a self-contained wedding episode where not much happened. I mean, the cliffhanger at the end with the scientist dude putting a big needle, you know, to get her blood. They're getting quite good at ending episodes on cliffhangers, and that's cool. But I wish they'd put a little more effort into making the episode good instead of just the last 2 seconds of it. As I said earlier, maybe they're working up to the season final, which would annoy me, or maybe they're just building it up for season 2. Again, which would annoy me, because She-Hulk is not doing that well as a TV show, and to spend the entire first season building it up to get to the second season, it's kind of alienating the audience to the point where the only people that will watch the show are people like me who just want to make a video on it and just hate watch it, sort of thing. The fight between Tatiana and She-Hulk in this episode was very cool. I think it had the potential to be something great, something awesome, but they decided to go with the comedy route rather than a cool fight, which I don't even know if I want to complain about, because it's supposed to be a comedy show and we're 6 episodes in and there's been like 5 jokes. But the fight did leave me wanting more, to be honest. And when they actually do, I'm guessing at the end of the series, I think that fight will be very, very cool. I kind of get now how, I mean, I was talking about it earlier, but Jen has been told quite a lot what to do with her own body as She-Hulk or as Jen. And if somebody told me what to do with my hot dad bod, I wouldn't be very happy. But what I didn't like about this episode was it was just a filler episode. It was half an hour of filler and not much happening apart from the end of the episode with the cliffhanger. And that's exactly what happened in the last episode. As I mentioned earlier, the more this show goes on, the more I think it just gets a little bit worse. But that is just my opinion, and I'm not going to say this is a good show or a good episode, but it was still kind of entertaining. Although the episodes get worse the more it goes on, I'm kind of enjoying the show more as it goes on, sort of. Just because I know the potential it has, but doesn't execute. And the more of the show that I watch, the more I wonder what's actually going to happen. So that was this episode. A couple of funny jokes. It was okay. I'm going to leave it at that. And I will see you later. Bye bye.